Let's go. Let's go. Before I even get this popped off real quick, let me go ahead and check and make sure this is rocking the all the platforms because it's my first time using Riverside to go live on everything. And I mean everything. I see that. Let's see my live stream. Oh, okay. There I am. All right. Facebook, but all right. So we are live on everything. I'm going to use this phone to go live on TikTok, and then we're gonna get to it ASAP. Lickety split. I ain't gonna hold y'all back no more. That five everywhere. Goofy phone. Spin it. Alright, there we are. We're live on TikTok. 3, 2, 1. Boom. We're live on everything now. There we go. I see me everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, homies and homettes, children and babies, creatures of all kinds, what it do, what it do. Welcome to another version of Man vs. Machine. I am finally not on the boat, not on the park. I'm in this studio at my house, ready to get you out of business, man. So happy, so excited to be pushing this, not as a hobby, but as a full-time thing. And God has just been good, just been giving me actually what I asked for, to hear his voice consistently. Um, Yesterday we had a live one. If y'all didn't see that video from yesterday, was out on the Maumee River, out on Lake Erie. Go check that out. That was a powerful, very powerful. All of them powerful, man. Um, they don't come from me, as you know. I can't speak on my own self. It all comes from God. I'm just a vessel being used to deliver His work. And speaking to that one percenter, and I'm not talking about the Illuminati. I'm talking about the chosen ones. Uh, it's time. It's awakening time. Y'all got to go back, see the lessons I've been teaching. I've been doing this for quite a while before there was a TikTok. Um, Facebook just came out. However, be off and on, and now God has kicked me in my fanny again, probably like 34th time. Probably the 34th time we're doing this and really pushing the purpose. Which gets me to my point. We ask God to give us a sign, just like I said yesterday, and God wants us to make the move for the sign. Today, I want to talk about when we ask God for peace, it's seeing the devil go straight and put us through hell before we get to that peace. Sometimes it seems like the devil got the prayer hotline tapped because he hears your prayers and your prayers seem to go in a totally different direction before you get to the blessing or what you asked for. Um, you'll pray for a financial blessing, but you got to go through poverty to get there. You pray for, this perfect person or your person, and you end up with a narcissist. You pray for a car, you end up with a hoopty, and you catching the bus. But you go through these things before you get the reward, and that's really how it works. Um, like I said, I speak on my own situations, not like most people where they just give you all the generalization of it. I think what I've been through, all the things I've been through, which is a whole shit ton. I've been through that so I can share those situations so people can relate. I'm not like a pastor or most people that I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. I was a bad dude and um a good dude, but I was living in worldly ways, if that makes sense to you. And I was pretty good at it. Um, I've done it all. Sell dope, never been my thing. Sold a lot of weed though, but it's legal now out here, so I can say that. In Detroit, go Lions. Well, I'm actually in Toledo for the Lions fan. So, uh, I've been through bad relationships. I've been a player. I've been I've been everything under the sun. I believe a gangster. a corporate person, a corporate thug. I've done a lot of things um, on my journey with this, with God, my walk with God. I always know God. I always had a calling on my life. It's like when you chosen, you can be in a room full of people. Y'all all doing the world's lifestyle, but you suffer the consequences for that. Which gets me to my point. We go through so much as people called by God that when we pray for peace, because we've been through so many battles and so many wars, it seems like the devil tapped in and he gives us another war. Like I say, you pray for your person, you end up with a narcissist. But what God is doing is refining you, because there be some things in us. Let me turn this mic down. So it's a strong mic. There be some things in us that God's got to get out of us so we can be who he called us to be. There's some things that we got to go through, some trials and tests that we got to go through for us to be able to relate to the people he's called us to relate to. I knew that was going to happen. Who he called us to relate to. You can't have a testimony if you haven't been tested. I'm saying it again. You can't have a testimony if you haven't been tested. So I know what it's like um, to be in jail. I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to be balling. I know what it's like to have multiple cars. I know what it's like to have no car. I know what it's like to have everybody around you, but you can't trust none of them. You know what I'm saying? You're in a room full of frenemies. I know what it's like to be by yourself. And a lot of times when God is working with us and when we asking him for peace, he lets the devils take us through those trials so he can remove us from uh, our environments. And if you look at Genesis 12, when he was talking to Abraham, God told Abraham to move out of his land, which was Ur's Iraq, and move to Haran. And Abraham took his nephew Lot with him. And we talk about Lot a little bit later. And so what he had to do, and what God has to do a lot of times, is take us out of that environment, because you become your environment, but you're not of your environment. Unlike the people around you, God has a special assignment for you. And so he's there in those lessons, teaching you those lessons so you can become who you are. If you take a clump of gold, have you ever seen raw gold before? It looks like crap. And so it's not jewelry, it's not looks like how you usually look at it until it's refined. It has to go through fire. Literally has to go through fire to be refined, to remove the impurities from it, to become sparkling, to become valuable, to become treasured. And that's the same thing with us as children of the light. You have to go through fire. So for you to get to those peaceful moments in your life, God has to put you in the fire. And he allows the devil to drag you through hell, to drag you through situations of sometimes incarcerations, sometimes poverty, sometimes violence, to get there. And a lot of the times, he has to separate you from the people mostly in your environment, because those people are really set there to keep you down. I remember I just posted a second ago, and I posted what I posted on my story on Instagram and Facebook, the difference between the views within 1 hour. I posted a video on TikTok in 1 hour, it had over 1,000 views. Same thing on Facebook, had 28 views, right? Know the difference between TikTok and Facebook and Instagram? Your followers on TikTok and your followers on Facebook and Instagram are supposed to be your friends. You literally, you literally, Facebook is friends. These are supposed to be people you know or know of. And the reason a lot of times God has to separate you from them, even Jesus couldn't do miracles in Bethlehem or Nazareth because he was from there. People didn't know. Isn't this Joseph's son, the carpenter's son? Is Jesus Joseph's son? Who is he? So the people that you're most familiar with usually aren't going to be the people that help you rise or help you out of there. They're going to be the people that want you to be the same person they know you to be. Or they know you have these abilities because, like I said, it seems like all the devils taps the prayer hotline and send you these hostile people, these hostile things when you're praying for peace, when you want peace. It's the same way with these people. They see you. These demons know who you are sometimes before you recognize who you are. Look at the Matrix. The agents knew who Neo was before Neo knew he was the one. So it's the same in that movie as it is in real life. What you have to understand is this physical thing is the least of the real of your realities. Your spirit, the spiritual reality, is more real than this flesh that you see. And so these spirits around you, family members and friends, frenemies, they only see you for what you were, and a lot of them are assigned to slow down your destiny, to keep you in the things that are stopping you from being the best version of yourself, from keep you in these low vibration areas. So to refine you, it's just like the gold. When you find the gold, it's in the dirt, right? So you pull it out of the dirt, put it in fire, and get the impurities out of it, right? A lot of us, we in the dirt. It's a saying in this town I'm in right now, out the mud. Out the mud. Can't stay in the mud and be who you're supposed to be. A problem with us a lot of times and why people don't reach their full potential and their full purpose, the mud is comfortable. Just like a pig. Pigs like mud. It's comfortable to them. A lot of us like being in, have you ever seen a person in a toxic situation and they never leave? Why people stay in domestic violence situations? Why people go back to men and women who they know are no good for them? Why people stay in the club, really ain't got no money? Why people stay on their job and it's really depressing them and deflating them, but they have all these ideas and these talents inside? Because it takes going through the fire to get those qualities out of you. It takes going through the fire to make you the best version of yourself. The latest version of me had to go through these same fires. I expressed it the other day. Relationship with, I was in a relationship and I prayed to see the truth about this person, and ugly showed up. Never would have thought it. I thought I was the problem, or the lifestyle we was trying to live was the problem. I thought at one time, but it got going through that showed me the ugly in me. How I thought it was okay to not give a fuck, if that's the best way to put it. The old me that I thought I had put behind me, this person brought those old things that I thought I had got rid of back out of me. And so when I was coming up, trying to get to this point, I was making a lot of money. I was very successful in what I was doing, in the street, out the street, in corporate America, and still was hustling and doing things. I had all the money, I had all the girls, but I was sad, right? Sad because I wanted a person for myself. And so the person I met, I thought they wanted something different, but they liked the streets, or maybe I even introduced them to the streets, right? And living that lifestyle corrupted me and kept me from my purpose, right? So going through that fire and that separation of what I thought I wanted, and it taught me too, how can you expect something for yourself and not live with that integrity, if that makes sense. But I had to go through that fire. I'm still going through that fire right now with that. But going through that pain and that breakup and that loss it triggered me into realizing I never want to treat nobody the way I was treated and the way I was doing things and moving. If that's what I really want, was to meet a soulmate. You can't have both. You can't be wanting a certain type of lifestyle but living a different one, you know? And a lot of people struggle with that. It looks fun on the internet. Cardi B for one, Offset for one. Offset sitting here crying the blues right now. Why? Because he wanted to be outside, but he wanted to have his family inside. And if you look at both sides of the spectrum, they're both doing the same things, and it's kind of embarrassing. It's not kind of embarrassing. It is fucking embarrassing to look at both of them, the situations. But these are the heroes right now. Um, so to get where you want to be, to get where you need to be, and I also spoke on a job. If you want to be rich, you're not gonna do it working for someone else. So God, when you lose jobs and when you go through things, right, and you have all these ideas in your head, God is pushing you. If you listen to a lot of these actors, right, a lot of them, while they was chasing their dreams, a lot of these music artists and a lot of these successful people and these ball players, right, they went through a time of homelessness, a time of homelessness. Steve Harvey talks about it, and I'm not really a big fan of Steve Harvey, but he talked about him living out of his car. Um, Kevin Hart, all these people was talking about uh, the fire that they had to go through to get where it was gonna go. Um, so you have to understand that God is refining you. He's taking you out of the dirt and putting you in the fire so you can come out as gold. You can't stay in the mud to be better. And so we pray again, God, I want peace. And all this turmoil and shit happens. But you have to understand that the turmoil is there for a purpose. A lot of people give up. This is why you have the suicide rates and the deflation and people just giving up on their dreams because they can't stand the fire. And the devil's job is to distract you, to get you to give up, right? And it's I know we hear this, if you've been in church, you hear this all the time. God has already written out your life, right? It's one thing to hear that, but it's another thing to understand that. I know this, but even knowing it makes it's kind of hard when you're going through fire to understand that you already won this battle. Everything around you that the opposition, whether you want to call it Satan, whether you want to call it Lucifer, whether you want to call it Baal, whether you want to call it the universe, chi, karma, whatever, right? Bad luck, curses, witches, whatever spells that's been put on you, right? These are all designed to slow you down. The only thing that can stop you is you. You can get punched in the mouth and get back up. If anything, the best analogy I can give you that is Tyson Fury when he fought Deontay Wilder. Every single time he fought Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury was knocked out cold. He rose up like the Undertaker. I thought it was WWE or he was Terminator. And he got back up and he won those fights. He didn't give up. It looked like he was down and out, sleep. I mean, at one time I thought he was dead. And he got right back up and he put a whooping on Deontay Wilder for the rest of the fight. Knocked him out. That's the same thing with the devil. The devil wants you, or the the evils of this world, society, the top 1% in this world, not the chosen ones, the other side, the dark side, the principalities of wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6:10. That's why you need the whole armor of God. They hear you want peace. They hear your prayers that you want peace. These are these monitoring spirits that knew you from birth. They hear you want peace. They know the potential in you. So they bring all hell to stop you, delay you, and hoping that you quit because they already know you have the victory. But you have to understand and you have to really believe that. And that's why sometimes we have to rinse, repeat these cycles because we're not getting, we're not understanding. The easiest way to learn a lesson is from somebody else's mistake, right? Yet we'll see somebody do something and we'll go through the same crap that person did and got to go through those same consequences, right? Or worse. One thing about being a chosen one is you have a covering over your life, right? God has protected you. I've been in shootouts. I done lost control of cars at 140 plus miles an hour, still alive. I just had to save somebody from drowning this summer and dude pulled off with a big boat and threw us both out and out past my boat and we both made it. Pretty much anything under the sun I done been through. But I keep coming. I'm not gonna stop, just like Tyson Fury. I'm not gonna stop, just like the Terminator. I know the devil, he probably like, man, I done threw the kitchen sink, the pipes, the faucets, the house at this. He kind of like Superman when he was fighting Zod and them, and he got hit with a locomotive. He hit him with a train, but I keep coming. And you have to understand, the hotter the fire, the more pure the gold. So the more the devil turn up on you, when you keep going and he can't stop you, and you get the lesson, which is living in your purpose, he knows how dangerous you are. He not hell is not coming to fight somebody that don't have a purpose. This is why you see all these people around you able to live a life of the world and with no consequences. Basically, sometimes you see them dead. I'm sure a lot of you have seen people in a casket, and that could have been you for doing the same thing. A lot of you then drove home drunk and made it home. Whereas people that die every day from that. A lot of you then been in poverty situations, but you got a roof over your head. Um, a lot of you been in shootouts and situations, right? But you still here. You may have even got hit. You could. It's people that can't walk. It's people every day that you see, and you going through it, but you still got it better than them. It's people in this world, no matter what, you can be in poverty, living in a box right now. There's somebody in this world that has switched places with you, would love to switch places with you because they're going through much more hell. But a lot of the times, like I said, when you're praying for peace, God got to remove you from your environment because a lot of times we get so used to the abuse of our environment and so used to the things in our environment, it becomes a part of us. That's why the gold has to go through the fire because the dirt and the impurities in it have become a part of it. And these things that God wants out of us have become a part of us, um, even from birth. And it's sad to say, a lot of our parents were assigned to stop our destinies. A lot of you can testify to this, that especially I see this a lot in females, man. They own mamas be their worst enemy. Own mamas jealous of their daughters. Own mamas teach them not how to be a real woman, how to be a thought. You know what I'm saying? As we ain't got enough of that. A lot of men, fathers will be jealous of when you see it less with men that fathers are in their lives. But even with a lot of men, when you got, or a lot of females too, it's funny how your best friend will be your worst enemy. Dudes, some of your closest boys, look at the movie The Best Man. His best man piped down his wife and never told him. Smiling in his face, about to go down the aisle with him. A lot of your best friends is a stat. I know plenty of people that have been murdered by their own literal best friend. Um, so God has his covering over you. And so he has to get you out of this dirt and refine you and get you away from it so you can be who you want to be. So going back to Genesis 12, when he told Abraham, you gotta go. Abraham couldn't be who he was going to be, which was the father of the Hebrews, if he stayed where he was in modern day Iraq. God had to send him out, and why he didn't just it wasn't just easy for him. He had to go through Egypt and all these different ways. And when he got to Egypt, Pharaoh tried to steal his wife. Pharaoh tried to steal. Imagine the king trying to take your girl. A lot of you get in this situation. And Sarah went with him. He had, and what could he do? He would have got killed. And then God told Pharaoh, like, hey, that's my man's wife. God himself told Pharaoh, don't do it. Pharaoh's like, get out of here. Like, what you trying to get me? I heard about Yahusha, you know what I'm saying? I heard about Yahweh geek. Nah, go ahead about your business. It wasn't an easy time for Lot and Abraham when they left Earth. They had to leave what they was known because, like I said, a lot of us get so used to being oppressed by those around us, so used to the things around us that's keeping us from our purpose, that there's no way God can reach us there or we can fulfill our potential there. He can reach us there, but we can't fulfill our potential in that mess. Like I said, a lot of us been oppressed by our own parents. They don't want to see you do better than them sometimes. Like I said, particularly I see this a lot with women. And it's really sad. They use y'all, they abuse y'all. I know girls, and I really hate this part because I have daughters. and I'm glad I'm there in their lives because I will fuck you up about any of my kids. Um, I know women or that their mothers have let them be raped or knowing it or heard about it by a man in their house just so they can have a man, around. That's sad. That's self destruction. That women that I know that mothers just talk to them like crazy. Like, my mom's never called my sister a B word. I've never called my daughter a B word. I've never seen their mother call them a B word. Um, but this is how people talk to their own children. Um, and it's crazy because that's destroying them. It's not cute. This crap you seeing on the internet is not cute. I'm an '80s baby, so I didn't grow up through all. I grew up getting my ass whooped with a paddle in the belt and extension cord. My mom didn't use a belt. I took extension cord exclusively. Extension cord exclusively, maybe a high heel every now and then. But we in this era now that kids literally just cuss out their parents crazy. We had respect when I grew up. My mom, my aunties, and my uncles will jack you up for that. But that's not cute, and we cause this cycle. So God has to pull you out of this so you can get back on His program because we're on the world's program. So how He does that is when you praying for this peace and praying for these situations. He's got to take you through fire and uncomfortable situations for you. He's got to take you through uncomfortable situations for you to be refined, for you to understand that it's peace on the other side. There's no peace in a lot of these environments and situations that we're in. This is where the hell is coming from. Literally, the hell is coming from some of your family members. The hell is coming from some of your friends. The hell is coming from your places of employment. The hell is coming from, the lifestyle that you live in, that you're accustomed to. You all just broke because you out frivolously jacking off your money, blowing your money, BMFing, blowing money fast. I bet you Mitch wish he had some of those millions that he still had back in the day. Because the idea of it was we gonna die and we can't take it with us. But your ass still alive and you ain't got hundreds of millions of dollars no more. So, you have to understand that you have to be removed from these environments and you have to go through these trials to get to where God has purposed you to be. Um, you can't be soft and really have a testimony because this is warfare. The title of it, when we get down to the root and bear of it, is spiritual warfare. This warfare started in heaven before man was created. There's a war in heaven. Warfare. Warfare is not soft. We literally at war with the sides of darkness. There's really people out here performing witchcraft, and some of them are your family members. Some of them are your friends. It's really real bullets in the spirit and physically coming to you in certain environments. So the peace that you're praying for can't be had where you are a lot of the times. The peace that you're praying for, you have to go, you have to be removed and go through hell to find that peace. And it's sad, but it's biblical. In the latter days, a father turn against his son, a son against his father, a daughter against her mother. The enemies of a man is in his own household. That's man and woman. Be careful of what you say to the woman or man lying in your bosom, the one with the gift, the one with the calling. And a lot of the times we don't align up, and God has to take you to a place where those people will help you. Again, when Pharaoh found out that Sarah was Abraham's wife, he gave him gifts and things to continue to travel. Gave him jewels and food and just get out of here. Here, take this and y'all go ahead about your business. I'm sorry, God didn't mean to try to get his wife, but that helped Abraham. He got camels and I forget all the other stuff that he got from Pharaoh, but it helped him. So but he was traveling. He didn't have that all the stuff that he got from Pharaoh when he left. So a lot of times when God is taking you through these fires, you're going to pick up things that you need to be better. God is trying to take you out of the mud and place you somewhere else where people are going to appreciate who you are. They're going to appreciate your gifts. Those things that the support wouldn't give you. What's up, Erica? Right. I already, we've been friends for years. I know your story, and that's exactly what it is because you're gifted. But now, as you see, um, your success is coming from people that you never knew. Your team, and I meant to call you. I'll call you later. But anyhow, your team is boosting you to where you need to go. So, God is a prime example. People will put you, um, God will put you in places where the help is going to be, where you're celebrated and not um celebrated, not despised. But however, you will know the serpent when you see it. I know what Jezebel looked like because I just dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? I can't be fooled by that no more. Hopefully, um, and if I can control my flesh, you know what I'm saying? I can't be fooled with that no more. You know what I'm saying? You will know how to see. Well, this ain't my real homeboy. He a snake, and you're not gonna keep dealing with it because, like I said, a lot of the times we become so accustomed to just dealing with it that it's like trauma bonding. It's exactly what it is. We've trauma bonded to it. But instead of, and I see this a lot too. I was talking to my girl the other day. She didn't want to be like her mom, um, and wanted to break that generational curse, that cycle of mental, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and all these things that she went through. And I told her from my own experience. She's like, "You're such a good dad." Well, I'm a good dad, not because of how my father treated me. I'm a good dad because I never wanted to be like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see me with them. That's why they live here. That's why you see me at the games. That's why me and him is like glue. you know, um, with my daughters, I strive to not be abandonment, but I had visual references, my uncles that I can look at who had successful marriages. So I can never say I never saw a good marriage because I have. I've seen some death dooms, but at the same time, um, these lessons that you learn going through the fire, you have to remember them because when you get to where God has for you, you start ascending on your purpose. The attacks are not going to stop. They're going to intensify because you are a weapon in the spirit world. You are a nuclear bomb in the spirit world. If you look back at my main verse machines, I talked about that. And like I said, hell's not coming for nobody without a purpose. You know what I'm saying? If you have no purpose and where your purpose is dark, they're not going to mess with you. When your purpose is light, that's when they want to come for you. That's why you see certain people allowed to do whatever, live a certain lifestyle, and they still be out here. I know some crackheads that they should have been dead. They about 150. You know what I'm saying? But they never done that with their life. But I know a lot of good people that's in the grave right now, and that's because hell doesn't care about them. They care about you. You're the threat, even from your birth. That's why a lot of chosen people are put into these certain type of families. They really are the black sheep of their families because the odds are against them. That's why certain men and women are put in your lives, certain spouses, certain girlfriends, certain boyfriends, and just people that you randomly meet are put there to try to destroy you or slow you down or get you into a lifestyle where you can't be productive in your purpose. That's the main thing. Well, we can't kill them, but some fall to that ultimate fate. But when you have a mantle in your life and protection from God that they can't kill you, well, what's the next best thing? We can slow them down. I can't stop them, but I can destroy them, or I can make that person give up in their mind and walk off the court. That's how you lose when you walk off. It's not when you get knocked out. It's not when you get knocked down. It's not when you get beat up, because that's what Satan gonna beat you up. Fire burn. Like I told you, you're being refined. But what you do is you learn these lessons and then you start fighting back. And once you learn, you're not a punching bag. That's one of the things you got to understand. We go through warfare and we just think like, man, I'm just gonna get beat up. No, The purpose is for you to start beating up the kingdom of darkness. That's the purpose. The purpose is so you start boomeranging them curses that's out there, that witchcraft, and you start hitting them back, them lies, them people telling you, what kills a narcissist? Truth. And then when they go out and lie, and they still eventually get exposed, when they go out and lie and you ignore them, and you still come up, you know what destroys that hater, that hating parent of yours? Your success. Not you fighting back with evil, but you fighting back with love. That was an experience I had to learn. When somebody despitefully lies for you, lies on you, and you've done all this good for them, and you still had the capacity to pray for them. You still, I ain't gotta fuck with you no more. I still love you though. I don't want to see your demise. I would prefer you stop, because God's gonna get on you. Letting God fight your battles and letting God speak for you, that's some humbling things, because we all like to talk, right? But it's a lot of situations if you hold your tongue, and it's a lot of situations that people have held their tongue, they still be alive today. You can't fight evil with evil. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And what hurts evil the most is when you continue to be uh, kind in the midst of a storm. So that's part of that hell. That's a lesson learned. It's like turn the other cheek. Nah, I've been beating people up since I was 3 years old. One fight I lost in fourth grade, and I destroyed him the next time we fought. That's because he tricked me and had me turn around and he choked me. But the next time we fought, a week later, beat the dog shit out of him. But however, that's never gotten me anywhere good. I mean, I felt good for a moment, but that's gotten me in jail. That's gotten me suspended from school. That's got me, my mom thinking I'm crazy because I like to fight so much. That's gotten me whoopings, more whoopings than I can imagine. That's what used to beat me up, my mama and my cousins, and that's what made me so tough. But you have to look at that too. That's what molded me. Like how I can go through life is if I could survive Charles and Wayne, nothing really life can do to me. These are my cousins, my older cousins. If I can survive them too, I can survive anything. And that's the way I looked at it when I was fighting the fight. I got to fight them every day when I go over grandma's house. And it made me tougher. So you got to think about the things that you're going through. If you can survive being homeless, if you can survive not having a car, if you can survive rape, if you can survive molestation, don't let those things defeat you. God pulled you out. You went through that fire so you can be a testimony to somebody else. Somebody else want to give up because they went through that. If you can survive jail, if you can survive the hell that people go through, the streets, you can survive the corporate world. That's like Game of Thrones. I should have never came off the line. I should have stayed on the line with the union. Because coming on the management side, I can't do it. I'm not gonna sell out my team for management. Fire me. That's cool. I'm gonna get money regardless. Just like I said with the business thing, when you want to have a business, like I said, I prayed to God, so I can't. My job, they set my boss up first of all, and then I knew I was next, or our team was next. But I'm not about to do what they want me to do and degrade my integrity for that. No, I'm not gonna do it. And I prayed for God, move me out of this situation. I thought one of my other gigs was gonna blow right at that moment, or I really thought I was gonna hit the lottery or something. But no. And so, but the next day, literally the next day, my big homie called me. Hey, I got this gig. It pay 40 an hour, which was I was making, but it's double time and time and a half. Damn, like 60,000 an hour. What I'm doing? Nothing. Literally watching the whole. But what I took when God did that to me, I took that time, literally those 12-hour days that we got going, right? I'm sitting there because my purpose is this. And I'm learning how to do this correctly. I'm training myself. And I'm sitting at this hole, literally. I don't do anything. I look in the hole while these masons build, not the, the Illuminati masons, but, concrete bricklayers. I make sure they're alive inside the hole. I just sit there and try not to fall asleep. 60,000 an hour. But I'm sitting here learning YouTube, the algorithms, the trending, and all this other stuff. Because I'm sitting in my head like, I hate this. It doesn't matter where you put me. I made lots of money doing a lot of things, right? But every time I do it, my soul it won't let me rest because I'm not doing what God told me to do. And things that happen in my life when I don't do it. The cars will break down, boat will break down, jet skis will break down. Cause I'm not doing this. That's why like I told y'all the other day, if y'all watched the last Man vs. Machine, like God literally told me before you get your butt on that boat, do what I told you to do. So I went out to the river, did the Man vs. Machine, came back, boat ran fine. Yesterday, same thing. Like, oh, because those are distractions. That's another thing too. The devil will distract you whatever he can to stop you from doing your purpose. It doesn't also got to be pain. He'll give you pleasures too. I love being on the water. I got boats and jet skis. That's all I love to do. If you in the summertime it's warm, shit, I don't even care. Sometimes I'll wear a wetsuit and go out there. But it distracts you. Parties, like the club, isn't painful. If it was painful, nobody would go to the club. But when you're chosen, you got a calling on you. I'm gonna send you out here and get you drunk, and you can't do nothing. Like today, a good instance. Was going past my boy. I went to go get this part for my Benz, and my boy was at his spot. Guy had given me this, right? Going there with him, I'm talking just casually like we usually do. Not even think about it. He drinking. I drink beer. And he's like, oh, you gotta chase this new Crown Royal. I totally forgot this message. I had to pray that off me like, wow, just that subtle. The devil is a liar. Just that subtle. But see, these are things you gotta get out of your system. Um, this is why the devil used trickery like this. I'm like, dang, I forgot exactly what God told me what to do. I had all this stuff just booming through my head. And right there, that little distraction got me off my square. And so I had to, let me take a nap real quick, and boom, here came right back to me. I had to repent, like, dang, God, I was supposed to, I should have wrote this down like you told me and did it. But those little things, like I said, the devil is crafty as heck, bro. Like, when he knows that he did the most and you still keep coming, he'll try little things like that. Like, all right, well, throwing the kitchen sink at him didn't work. Let me give him a cake. You know what I'm saying? Let me give him some sugar. And that's how we get in situations with the wrong partners and the wrong friends and the wrong relationships, is because that line is tapped. That prayer hotline, just like God hearing, these spirits, these monitoring spirits are listening too. They're listening. And so you have to have discernment. And the only way you can have discernment, you have to know what you're looking for. You have to stay grounded in what you're looking for. You have to know deceit when you see it. You have to know these evil entities when you see it. These red flags are real red flags. When a person don't have no empathy for nobody, that's a red flag. When people try to use you, that's a red flag. I went out the other day, this person. The conversation was cool, right? The next day, nothing but red flags. Fine is wine, I tell you. I can't really fuck with it. It's like I'm gonna trade one Jezebel for another one. Like, come on, man. You gotta be smart. But ladies, the same thing. Like, a lot of y'all see the glitter and gold. Oh, he got money, he got cars, and this person be a whole damn devil. And gotta let you go through that. You pray for that, but you devil heard it too. And he gonna see you it wrapped up. Do not be deceived that Satan comes as an angel of light. And a lot of these tricks that he sends, they come wrapped up in pretty packages, but they're turd at the end of a shovel. Literally. It's a wrapped up piece of boo-boo. And y'all have to understand that, man. And it's not just relationships too. It's a lot of things. Like, you can get some stuff that you prayed for, right? What you doing going to get a Bentley if you can't afford a Toyota yet? Make it make sense. Make it make sense because they approved it for it. Can you afford it? And you have to have a mentality of people want instant gratitude. Don't want to go to the fire. Oh, it's easy. You know, I'm gonna pay $1,400 for a scat pack, but I live in a box apartment. Make that make sense, man. Y'all have to understand that, like I said, the fire sometimes ain't even hot. It might start out cold, but it's putting you into worse situations. You want to learn the lessons the one time, and I'm speaking to myself because I got a hard head, it's granted, and I had to go through so many things over and over again, and damn, I'd have wasted a lot of time. And had I grasped it and kept consistent with it, I wouldn't have to, half the things I went through in life, I wouldn't have to go through it as many times at least. This is like, damn, man, I'm too old for this. Like, like I can't keep doing this. But then You have to understand also, referring back to what I said yesterday, we ask God for these signs, right? Give me a sign for this, but we don't take action. God show you that these people are not no good for you, or God show you that this is the right thing for you, but we hesitant on it. Or I want you to do this. And that's the crazy part, because we ask God for these things, and then when He show us, we won't move. You have to move when God show you, whether it's He show you the bad in a thing or a person, or the good in a thing of a person, and we don't act on it. We just sit there. Well, give me another one, and give me another one, and eventually a year went by, 2 years went by, 3 years went by, and inactivity is almost as bad as negativity because you're stagnant, you're not growing, and so the fire is there to grow you. Once you take the gold out the dirt, once you take the person out the mud, and not necessarily all the mud is people, but those environments that are stopping them from being who they're supposed to be. Um, when you take them out of there, it can actually grow into be who they're supposed to. Um, it's like a fighting dog. No Mike Vick, but you see these rescue dogs, right? That dog was put into an environment where it had to kill or be killed, right? Mm-hmm. And then you see the dog get rescued, and the dog is a happy, joyful animal, right? Well, what the hell? It was a killer over here. It was the environment it was in. It was an environment where it was kill or be killed, and a lot of us are in environments where it's kill or be killed, and it's not necessarily a physical death. The whole death that they're trying to do is kill the vision, kill the purpose, kill the dream. You don't have to be physically dead for them to do that. If you give up on it mentally, if you give up on it spiritually, they won. Then you can just walk around like a zombie because you haven't fulfilled your purpose. And a lot of people are just that. They're spiritual zombies. They're mental zombies because they've had such traumatic experiences, and they don't want to remove themselves from their environments. So they're praying for these signs to get away from these things, and they sit there. I had a friend, man, kept going back to her ex. I mean, he did the worst type of things to her. Just fucked up over it. Kept going back. Like, why would you mess with this dude? Trauma bonded. Trauma bonded. Same as sometimes I would go back to trauma bond situations. Like, I know this person not right for me, not they was kicking my ass or anything, but I know this person not right for me. They don't. It's like I'm doing everything. They don't give a shit. Like, why should I? But we stick to certain situations because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. A lot of us go through breakups. A lot of us go through firings. A lot of us go through friends separations. We be all sad. And then you think about it like, damn, what did this person ever do for me to really care about them being around me? What did they ever do for you? To help you grow. And the growth is more than just financial. Y'all gotta understand. I mean, cars is cool, money is cool, bags is cool. If I could spin this camera around right now and show you this room, nothing but shoes over here. You know, I really don't care about none of this crap. I walk around now and the jogging pants or whatever beat up shoes I got because I'm working, doing different things. I don't really care about none of this stuff. I wish I could get the money back off of this stuff. I have a whole Mercedes outside. I don't even drive them. I don't even care. Why? Because all that stuff is nothing. If you're not being fed spiritually, and that's the thing we got to focus on, not the materialistic stuff. The materialistic stuff a lot of times is a trap. It's that shiny, that turd wrapped in a shiny package. For real. It's cool to have that stuff, but if you spiritually fucked up, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? What's the point of having all this stuff if you dead spiritually? If you're a horrible person, if you're an evil person, or getting entangled or entrapped with a horrible, evil person. We talk a lot about Will Smith, right? Situation last year, that was the big thing, right? Do you know he was one of the richest actors in Hollywood? This man is 100 millionaire. Do you know how horrible he has to feel inside? He was the laughing stock of the United States and probably Europe and whoever watched, you know, that type of stuff. His life is out there. Beautiful family, everything you could ask for. That's fucking Will Smith. Yet, He was on public display looking like a fool. None of that stuff was enough for the person that he was with. And y'all gotta understand, man, like that's a spiritual decay. That's a spiritual death inside that you will put up with that. That's a spiritual death or some Jezebelish type stuff that someone will put that. And that can go vice versa. Vice versa. So we put so much stock in, oh, I got this and I got that. I got these watches, I got these shoes, I got these bags, I got this car, I got this thing, but you dead on the inside. You just a zombie, not living for no purpose. Like I said, I've made a whole lot of money doing a whole lot of different things. But when I'm not doing what God calls me to do, my soul is not at rest. I'm literally looking. Who wouldn't want to sit there? I literally didn't have to really lift a finger. It was not my job. I tried to help do some of the work. And they was like, no, you can't do that. You got to sit, stare at the hole, make sure they're okay. Because if you doing this and when something happened to them, I literally sat at a hole for the first 2 days, $60. For the day after those dope times. So it was $85. Just looking inside of a hole. $85 an hour on on the last 2 days. Looking inside of a double time. Looking inside of a hole and hated every moment of it. Because I wasn't not hated it, because I was able to train myself and learn what I'm trying to do now. But I could never sit there and do that because my soul wouldn't let me. My soul won't let me. It won't let me not be who I am. It won't. Like I said, get money out of the streets. I was having a good time, but the conviction inside of me that I wasn't living my purpose, so God had to remove me out of it. I'm gonna take this away from you. I'm gonna take this away from you. I'm gonna give you what you need, and that's one of the things too that you don't understand. What y'all gotta understand too. When you root it, God won't allow certain things to happen to you. He don't let the devil take it so far. I lost jobs before. My mortgage is paid. I done lost cribs before. I got another one. I done lost cars before. Got another one. Got where I needed to be. That temporary pain, I'm ready for the rewards of it. So when God called me to move this time, and when God calls you to move, when you ask God for peace and you're going through that hell, just know on the other side of that hell, if you don't quit, if you keep moving forward, if you keep grounded in what your purpose is, what your calling is, and be disciplined. That's the main thing. Be disciplined in what you're doing. Stay consistent. The reward is way bigger than the hell the devil puts y'all through. Man versus the machine. Y'all check me out on the next one. Appreciate y'all for real. I never edited this before on here. Come on.